Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Daniel Astronaut, and welcome to Astronaut Media. Today, my guest, well, he's running for a governor. His name is Sammy Bird. He's a Korean American, spent his lifetime in the service to the country and community. Now, his resume is quite long, so I'm just going to give you some of the tidbits. Senior advisor to the U.S. Ambassador in Bangladesh, Army, Special Forces Intelligence and Operations, and also Special Forces Engineer, Green Beret post 9/11, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medals, got 4 of those. Achievement Medal, 4 of those, several other distinctions, and he's joining us today. Sammy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Daniel. Good to be with you, brother. Thank you.
So listen, I wasn't particularly aware of who you were until very recently, but wow, I mean, so I'm grateful to have you on the show. I certainly hope you win. You've given hope to this entire grassroots patriot movement who believe that the Constitution is not some piece of paper, as some of the American politicians want you to believe, okay? And it's a power inherent in the people. So let me ask you this. What inspired you, as a kind of, runoff question, to run for the governor as a Republican candidate? Again, we're talking about a deeply democratic state.
Yeah, well, it comes down to what you're saying. If you look back to the heritage of this nation, that melting pot, this flag that represents all races, all religions, all colors, America, and conservative values, the Republican Party, the party of abolition, the party of women's rights, and the party of civil rights. I'm a Reconstruction Republican. And so when I say that, it's time to bring us back to our roots. And our roots are human decency, civility, and fighting for the grassroots, fighting for everyday citizens who get up trying to do better, trying to provide for their children, trying to provide for their family. And all we ask is for safer streets, better schools, that you don't tax us so much or impose so much regulations against our small businesses that we can't afford to live here, or that we have to move out of the state where we were raised or born. It's not asking too much that you spend our money and that you are accountable to us, we the people, as declared and as indicated and codified in the Constitution. And so that is why, and the calling that comes from so much higher to serve. I say to people, if I was serve and die for my country on foreign soil, here we are, everyone, brothers and sisters, on our own American soil, in our own state, in our own communities. Now is the time to act and self-govern to protect our constitutional republic. Right now, you and I.
So your high school dropout who served in the military, Green Beret, it's not a small thing. You don't buy this in a store, okay, or on Amazon. How does this experience help you in your role as hopefully a future governor of the state?
Oh, hugely. Because one of the things that happens right now, we have these elite classes. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you have elite classes of what we call the establishment. Some calls them the uniparty, where it's all blended.
Yeah.
But what it comes down to, my message, not as a conspiracy theorist, but simply this: you have those who think that they can tell us who are trying what we should do, who we should vote for, and they control. They have the power. These politicians who get into office and get their promises to us, we the people. And so we are simply saying, we're not going to allow them to do that anymore. So what they are doing, even within our own party, we call them mainstream Republicans in Washington State. They have come against me. They're trying to use my education against me. In my past, 30 years ago, I had a misdemeanor. Just recently, they're trying to take my honor and my service against me with fabricated lies and half-truths. There is nothing that they will not do to, like they did with Judge Kavanaugh, like they did with Clarence Thomas. These same people who profess to be conservatives will execute a public lynching and burn down a person's family, their reputation, and everything they built a life to build, all for their own power and
control.
There's
a lot of money in politics, so needless to say, if it's not you, it's them. It's a dark world. So do you feel there's an organized demoralization campaign? But I'm talking about the highest levels going on in the United States. There's someone out there. This isn't some wacky conspiracy theory, who want people to feel hopelessness, drugs, suicide is the only way out, okay? Your only way out is to kill yourself. So how can we change that? How can we give people hope?
Oh, it's the wake up. So right now, recently, when they did that to me, and that demonstrated to people, because I've been saying this from when I started running in the inner cities, talking to people, black and brown and all races, because we're all Americans. We all want the same thing. Breaking down those barriers to say, stop. It doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican. It just matters that we want to do better. And that if you've made a mistake in life, you're okay. You have worth, you have value, you are us, I am you. Let's come together and let's be the change that we want for our children. Let's make the future that we want for our families and the future generations. And so that's all we have to do, is not give up, not let them tell us what we can or what we cannot do. Because when they bring that darkness of despair, they breed that learned helplessness with these ideologies to teach us in marginalized communities that there is something wrong with us, that we cannot learn like other people, that we can't go get an ID to vote, that we can't. We are Americans, all people of all races. We are Americans, and we will realize our excellence, and we will unite, and we will be the change in the future. We will bring back American values, and we will save our republic. This is how we do it. We self-govern by getting out, getting engaged, contributing to those who are running for office, getting behind them, advocating for them, and telling everyone you know about us.
So let me ask you something else. So people are obviously, America is run by private-public partnership of this one world globalists. This is not about the Democrats. This is not about the Republicans, because in fact today the two parties, the only difference between the two is the abortion. Everything else is the same, and so the people are left out of the equation. So how do you bring people back? How do you make them interested in politics again?
Educating them in common sense. Right now, when you go out and to go to a restaurant, to go to the store, to go to work, you're seeing the homelessness that is out of control, mental health and addiction out of control. And you have to ask yourself why. And you touched on it, my brother. When you shut down schools and churches and businesses, and you cause people to go into bankruptcy, and you take away their livelihoods, and you tell them either you get a vaccination that has not been approved by the FDA, you force them, get that vaccination or you lose your job. You wear that mask, you isolate yourselves from one another, and then you take away children's education and their social interaction where they develop. That's how they develop. You cause the despair, you perpetuate the despair, and you support the despair to breed these industrial complexes so those elitists continue to profit and enrich themselves. What we are doing is waking people up because they are seeing with their own eyes those hopeless, addicted, homeless folks, and all they're trying to do is tax us more to build more mini houses to just to house more addiction, where they're dying in those mini houses or tents that they provide on the streets. And then we have our schools where they're bringing in anything and everything else but the fundamentals of education. And we're paying, taxpayers in our state are paying, most of our budget goes to education, billions of dollars, and we are failing to meet grade level standards. And we continue to graduate students with a failed education. We have taxation out of control for our roads and our bridges, but they say they want another $1 billion. People are seeing this nonsense and they're waking up, Daniel.
You mean to tell me that 2 plus 2 is not 22?
Yeah, that new math doesn't work
And
out.
why not? I mean, it's democracy. Let's vote on it, kids. How many of you think that 2 plus 2 is 22? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hands. Okay. And 2 plus 2 is 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 22. No, it's 4. You're a racist. You've got to be pro-Trump.
Oh, that's what they do. This is Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. And again, what used to be Marxist is now mainstream Republican. What used to be communist is now, it doesn't matter whether you call yourself a Republican or a Democrat. It's this establishment elite class of globalists that has been playing us for fools. And so when we wake up because of a pandemic, right, when they shut us down and all of a sudden they come out and they say, well, our bad. That's right. When the box is set that masks do not work, it's like trying to catch a mosquito with a chain link fence. that's about the same effectiveness as a mask, but yet children had anxiety by being muzzled and were going into depression and they were killing themselves.
These
All
are
this you want to
psyops.
tell us it's a
These are,
psyop. They
you
played
know,
us for fools and they're going to continue to try to do it unless we do something about it.
this is a message for our audience, for our subscribers, for our listeners. There's a lot of material out there that we'd love to make it public for everyone to see. Unfortunately, the social media, YouTube and company, basically will cut us off. And that's one of the reasons we have Estrelin Media. That's why we go behind the facade and we give people, the subscribers, a chance to see this amazing material. Okay, so join us, please, at Estrelin Media. Support us, because this is the only way we can actually get these amazing interviews out there. Because for the most part, unless you talk about flowers and all kinds of silly stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with flowers. I love flowers. Okay, you're not going to be able to get any kind of a point of view, which is important for people to understand how things really run. It's a dialectic. They're going to make you go left or right. They're going to make you choose. Okay, choose one or the other. Okay, whether it's New York Yankees or the Mets, whether it's either Boston Celtics or Philadelphia, okay, Madrid or Barcelona, you know, black, white, Trump, anti-Trump, MAGA, anti-MAGA. If you don't want to go that route, you actually understand what's going on. Join us at estrelin.media.